Okay, so good morning, students.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, so in the last class we have discussed about the time response. Okay, so we discussed about the time response, and also we have gone through the different test signals. Okay, the different test signals, that is the impulse, step, ramp, and parabolic. Okay, then we have also gone through the time response analysis. Okay, for a first order system. Okay, for a first order system, and observing the different cases. That means in one case we have only considered that means this one we have only considered that if there is a if the input is not, means in the if the input is 0, that is input signal is 0, and only the operation or the system will operate depending upon the initial condition of the output, then what will be the response. And we have seen that whenever we have a system, the system is always in time domain. So to analyze the system in time domain, we have to convert into S domain, then we have to write the equation of the output signal, and then we have to find the inverse Laplace. Okay, then we have also tested some you can say the test signals. That means what is the response if impulse signal is given, what is the response if the step input is given, unit step and unit ramp. Okay, and parabola, all these things we have seen. Now we will be observing the practical example. Okay, suppose we have a electric circuit like this, a series RL circuit. Okay, and the voltage source is a DC supply. So this equation you have already seen in your circuit theory. Okay, and you have, I think, in transient response, in steady state response. Okay, this thing was also there in your circuit theory or network theory, where you have transformed the, you have first of all you have written the equation in the time domain, then you have transformed into Laplace domain, then once again you have determined the inverse Laplace, and then you have plotted the graph of the output response. Okay, so to actually determine the to classify the steady state condition or steady state period and the transient period. So similarly we have a RL circuit in this case. So the question is, derive an expression for the current in the following circuit and find out its time constant. Okay, with V equals to 10 volts, resistance is 10 ohms, and inductance is 10 millihenry. Okay, so first of all the equation which is there as per the RL series circuit, we have to write that. So we all know that if this is a DC voltage, okay, and the series circuit means only one current is there, so the instantaneous current is IT, and we have a switch over here. Okay, so as per the KVL, V is equals to I into R plus L di dt. Okay, now in time domain we have written this. Now we have to, so in this case what is the input and what is the output? What is input and what is the output? So it's quite easy, because the voltage is the input and current is the output. So once the voltage is supplied, we will get the current. So then the time equation in the time domain has to be Okay, so the equation in the time domain has to be transformed into the Laplace domain or S domain. So after Laplace transform, this Vt becomes Vs. So Vs equals to Ris plus Lsis, because L di dt. So differentiation of any parameter is nothing but S multiplied by the parameter in the S domain. So it becomes capital Is and differentiation becomes S. So L di dt becomes Lsis. Okay. So now one thing is to mention that it is a DC supply. So DC supply means, if it is a DC supply, so DC is like a step signal. I think all of you will agree, because DC is like a step signal like this. So as per the step signal is concerned, that when time greater than 0, then we get some amplitude A. Okay, so we get some amplitude A. So in this case voltage is V, so we will get voltage V. So U is V, and when time is less than equals to 0, it is 0. Okay, so that means it is a step signal where the amplitude is V. Okay, so now if you perform the Laplace transform for step signal, then we get V by S. If V is the magnitude, that means if ut is equals to V, then us is equals to V by S. Okay, that we have seen in the last class, if you can remember over here. Okay, so this is the step signal. So if the amplitude is A, okay, AUT, okay, so after Laplace transform it becomes A by S. So if this is V, then it becomes V by S. Okay, so that means the input is V by S. So in place of Vs we will write V by S. Okay, because it is a step input. So now we will take I common and write the equation in terms of I, because I is the output, because in control system Rs is considered to be the input and Cs is considered to be the output. So in this case Rs is nothing but V by S and Cs is Is. Okay, so Is is equals to V by S into 1 by R plus Ls. Okay, so this is our equation for the current. Now since this is, you can see there are this is V by S and there is another term, so two terms, so you have to multiply it. So once we multiply, you have to take V by L common. Okay, so after multiplying it and after simplifying the entire thing, okay, so we can write this equation in this form. That is V by R multiplied by 1 by S minus 1 by S plus R by L. Okay, so why? Because we are representing in a first order system. So you can ask that why we are writing in this form. We can directly write 1 by S square plus R by L S. We can write, but in this case we want to represent in the first order system. Okay, because it will be easier for us to determine the, you can say, to find the inverse Laplace. If you represent in the first order system, it will be better. It will be more. It will, you can say, it will be easier for us to find the inverse Laplace. That is why we have represented in the first order system. Okay, so once we have this equation with us, there is V by R. So V and R are the constants, which are the amplitudes. Now 1 by S minus 1 by S plus R by L. Okay, so you have to find out the current IT, that means inverse Laplace of Is. Okay, so now this is constant, so this will come out. Inverse Laplace of 1 by S is 1, because Laplace of 1 is 1 by S. So inverse of 1 by S is 1 minus 1 by S plus R by L. Okay, so now this is known to you all, because since you have already completed your Laplace transform in your earlier semesters, so you must know that when there is a there is a variable 1 by S plus A. Okay, so the inverse Laplace of 1 by S plus A is nothing but e to the power minus AT. Okay, and if it is S minus A, it becomes e to the power plus AT. So in this case, if 1 by s plus r by l is there, so inverse Laplace will be e to the power minus r by l t. Okay. Now we can arrange in this way. So r by l into t can be written as t by l by r. We generally write in this way. Whatever constant is there, we tend to bring that in the denominator. Okay. So this is the equation of the current in the time domain. So that means if this is our system, so this is the equation of the you can say this particular circuit. Okay, so after that the current equation will be this. Okay, so this is the response. That means if the DC supply is given, this is the output of the current. So we can plot it. So finally the current is nothing but V by R into 1 minus e to the power minus t by capital T. Capital T is a time constant in the RL circuit, time constant, which is L by R, because this is constant, because the inductance is constant and resistance is constant. Okay. So in this case the time constant T1 is 1 millisecond and the final steady state current will be V by R. That means if you plot this graph, it is an exponentially, you can see it is exponentially decreasing, this one, e to the power minus t by t. This is exponentially decreasing. Okay, it will be exponentially decreasing like this. But once it is 1 minus exponentially decreasing function, so that means in this case it will be exponentially increasing. Okay, if you plot this using a MATLAB, because this is plotted using MATLAB, you will see that it is exponentially increasing. Okay, so how to plot it using MATLAB, that also I will show in the lab class. Okay, so now if you observe for 1 second, or you can say this is 1 millisecond actually. Okay, 1 millisecond, the amplitude is somewhere over here. Okay, so the amplitude is, so the steady state current will be V by R. Okay, 1 ampere in this case. So V by R. So the steady state current. So steady state current means this current. So you can see the current is this is the amplitude. That means this is current on the y-axis and this is time on the x-axis. Okay. So that means the input is a DC supply. Input is DC, direct current voltage actually. DC voltage. Okay. This DC voltage is the input. So it is starting at 0. Okay, it is starting at 0, but current is not starting at 0, because there is some transient, and after 5 milliseconds then the current becomes steady state, then you get the desired amplitude. Okay, because there is some transient condition. Why transient? Because of the inductor. If inductor was not there, then if only resistance was there, then no transient effect would have been observed. But since due to the presence of the inductance, there is some transient. Okay. So this is the case. So this is the first order system. In cases you will see higher order systems. So this is just an example of a RL circuit in the first order system. You can do the same thing for RC circuit. Okay, only resistance circuit or RLC circuit all together. You can do that. Okay. You can also take, you can say if the DC supply is given, so always remember the DC supply is given, that means it is a step signal. Okay, and the amplitude will be, if it is V, so the step signal will be V by S in Laplace domain. Okay, now we will be discussing about the second order system. Second order system means where the exponent of the S variable is square or 2. Okay, that means S square something. That means suppose 1 by S square plus 2S plus 3. Okay, like this. So 1 by S square plus 2S plus 6, or you can say 10 by S square plus 2S plus 3. So this is a second order system. Okay, so for second order system, the expression or the time response, okay, is not that simple. We have to take a few conditions or criteria. Okay, there are some you can say some observations are there. So we have to determine in a different way, because in a first order system, if you are having dealing with a first order system, that is suppose 1 by s plus 3, 1 by s plus 3. Okay, so we know the value of s is minus 3. Okay, but in this case the solution of s will not be a real number, it will be a complex number. It may be a real number, it may not be a real number. Okay, so it can be complex. So in that case, the some observations are required, so the analysis is a little bit different. Okay, so in this case the analysis will be different, because suppose we take a second order system like this in the time domain. So second order system means it will be double derivative. Why? Because we know that when we differentiate something, suppose we take this example once again, this was a first order system. Why? Because there was only one s over here. Okay, one s, because there was first derivative. So first derivative, now if you transform the first derivative into a Laplace domain, it becomes s, and if it is second derivative, it is s square. If it is third derivative, it will be s cube. Okay, so if it is a second order system, so it will be the second derivative. So that is why we have taken a second derivative differential equation. So second order differential equation rather. So it is a1 d square ct by, that means the second derivative of ct plus a2 first derivative of ct plus a3 ct plus b rt. Okay, so ct is the output and b and rt is the input. Now after the Laplace transform and considering the initial conditions to be 0, because we are representing in the transfer function form. So once we represent in the transfer function, so transfer function nothing but the Laplace of the output signal to the Laplace of the input signal, considering all the initial conditions to be 0. Okay, so if the initial conditions are 0, that means the value for the say this one rs minus 0, okay, or rs 0 plus 0, 0 plus, all these elements will be, you can say, neglected. Okay, so in this case the equation will be rearranged in this way. Okay, so taking css common, because this equation double derivative will become a1 s square cs plus a2 s cs plus a3 cs plus b rs. So cs will be taken as common. Okay, and if you write in the form of a transfer function, that is cs by rs, it becomes very easy. Okay, because cs is in all the three terms, so you can easily represent it in the transfer function format. cs by rs, that is equals to b by a1 s square plus 2a a2s plus a3. Okay, so this is the second order system. Now the solution of the s can be complex or can be real, as I have told you. Now the time response cannot be determined directly by taking the inverse Laplace in that way, in that fashion. So there is some observation that you have to make, that is to obtain the standard form, both numerator and denominator divided by a by 3. Okay, so this is a standard form. In this case we generally not tend to write the equation with 1 as the gain factor of s square. That means if I show you the previous example, okay, in this case if I show you the first order system, that will be easier for you to understand. For the first order system, you can see over here it is v by s into 1 by r plus ls. That means this way. Okay, so you always see in first order system, if the equation is in this fashion, if you get confused, so I will show in a different. Okay, Okay, so suppose you're dealing with the first order system and the equation is like this, a1 by a2 s plus b. Okay, a2s plus b. So we don't write in this way generally. What we do, we generally represent in this fashion for it becomes easier to understand. So one second, we take a2 as common. Okay, a2 as common. Okay, so it becomes a1 by a2 into 1 by s plus b by a2. You can see we are focusing on this part. Over here we always represent s with 1. That means we don't want anything associated with s. We want to eliminate that, so that only 1 is multiplied with s. S should be single. Okay, this is the criteria for the first order system. Why? Because it is easier for us to find the Laplace transform, inverse Laplace transform rather, because the inverse Laplace transform will be e to the power minus b by a2 into t. It will be easier for us. Okay, it becomes easier for us. But in the second order system, what we do, we don't write in that way. Rather we want to associate something with s. Okay, why I'm telling you? Okay, in this case we want to associate, first of all we want to associate, then in the second case and in the modified form we don't associate it. Okay, so this is the step by step I'm showing you. First of all, you start with this equation, a1 s square plus 2s plus a3. Okay, you have this equation. Now you want to put this last, that is the constant, that is this where the exponent of s is 0, that is only a3, there is no s parameter, that is s to the power 0 is there. You want to put it 1. If you want to put it 1, then what you have to do, you have to take a3 common. If you take a3 common, then only it becomes 1. If you take a3 common, then it will be sent to the numerator. Okay, so it will be represented like this, a3 common, or dividing with a3, whatever. If you divide with a3, numerator denominator, it will represented, it can be represented like this. Okay, so in this case this is rewritten in the specific format. So this is the specific format of a second order transfer function. Second order transfer function, this is very important equation, this one. This is specific format of a second order transfer function, where gs is equals to, in the numerator there will be some constant, you can see b by a3, so it is a constant k. Now s is associated with some constant a1 by a3, so we write this constant as 1 by omega n square. That means a1 by a3 is equals to 1 by omega n square. Okay, then a2 by a3, because a3 is constant over here, a3 is constant, a3 will be constant. Why? Because you are dividing with the last parameter. So whatever you divide with last parameter, it will come over here also, here also. Okay, isn't it? So that is why this parameter a2 by a3 will be written as 2 eta by omega n. Okay, 2 eta by omega n, and 1 is as it is. Now this omega n and eta has some name. Okay, so that I will be coming in the next slide. So this can be preferred to be normalized to make the coefficient x square unity. So first of all, our target will be to put the last parameter or last you can say term 1. So for that we will, whatever value is there, if it is 100, 10, 25, whatever, we will divide numerator and denominator with that variable so that it becomes 1. Okay, then we will again rearrange it to write in the same way as we represent the first order system, that is nothing associated with s square, only 1 is there. So first of all, we don't directly do that, we do it 2 steps. First step, the third parameter is 1, so we divide that, then we do the same thing. Now once we do this, you see omega n will be send to the third term, because if you multiply omega n square, because if you want to put s square to be 1 associated with 1, so you will multiply with omega n square, so it becomes s square plus 2 eta by omega n into omega n square, so it becomes 2 eta omega n s plus omega n square, and omega n square in the numerator also, because multiplying omega n square in the numerator, omega n square is multiplied both in numerator and denominator, so you get this equation. Okay, now this is the normalized equation, so both are important. Okay, so this is the first step and this is the modified form. So I think this one you have to remember. You have to remember this equation number 66. Okay, so the form is k omega n square by s square plus 2 eta omega n s plus omega n square. Okay, so k is the steady state gain constant. K is a constant in the numerator, so it is called the steady state gain constant. It can also be varied, because any stability of a function you can change the gain also. If you change the gain, then also the system becomes stable. Or you can also change the, if you want to if you observe a system where you see that the transient period is taking too much, so if you want to reduce that, then also you can change these parameters. In the gain constant also, if you change, you will see the transient period is also can minimized or maximized. Okay, omega n is called the undamped natural frequency of the system in radian per second. Undamped natural frequency. Now, why frequency is coming? Frequency because in a second order system it is kind of a waveform. Okay, that we will see. So undamped natural frequency means it is the natural frequency of the second order system, but undamped. Damping means, what is damping? Do you know what is damping? Anyone? Do you know what is damping of a signal or a frequency? Now let me interact. Does anyone know what do you mean by damping? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so damping, do you know what is damping?
Yes, sir.
So please elaborate.
Sir, decreasing in amplitude with respect to time, sir.
Decreasing of amplitude
Yes, sir.
of a waveform. So that means
Yes, sir, of a waveform.
if a waveform of or a signal, so if a signal is traveling like this, so if it is becoming zero, so we will say that it is started to damp and it has damped. So it is a damped function. So that means if it becomes zero, we call it is totally damped. So this is called damping. Damped function or damped signal, rather damped signal or damped frequency. Undamped means it is not damping, it is continuously flowing in the same frequency and same amplitude, just like a sinusoidal signal, a constant voltage, AC voltage. It is undamped. Okay, so omega n is the undamped natural frequency and eta is the damping ratio. Okay, it is a damping ratio, so we will be discussing later. Okay, so omega n and eta. So first of all, damping ratio, what is that? And we will just elaborate. Let me elaborate those things. To understand this, first of all, we have to go to the basics of this second order system. That is second order differential equation or a second order equation, whatever. Suppose coming to algebra, we talk about the second order equation. Suppose this is the second order equation, a s square plus bs plus c equals to 0. Okay, so in your school level you have all studied, if there is a second order system, so to find the square root we use the Sridhar-Acharya formula. That is, if there is a square, if you want to find the square root, so obviously there will be two roots, so we call it s1 and s2. It is nothing but minus b plus minus b square minus 4ac root over of b square minus 4ac by 2a. Okay, sorry. Okay, so this is S1 and S2. This is the solution. Now the term b square minus 4ac is called the discriminant and may be positive. It can be positive, it can be 0, it can be negative. Okay, so it may be positive, maybe 0, maybe negative. Okay, if it is 0, then S1 and S2 will be equal. If it is positive, then S1 and S2 you will get two positive, or you can say two real numbers, and if it is negative you will get imaginary numbers, complex conjugates. Okay, so depending upon the roots, may be real or unequal, or real or equal, or complex respectively. This is known to us. Now taking this equation, with this help of the equation, we write that in this parameter, suppose b by root over of b by 2 root over of AC, b by 2 root over of AC is called eta. It is the damping ratio. So this is the equation of the damping ratio. This value of eta is nothing but it is b by 2 root over of AC. Now what is b? B is nothing but, see, you take this denominator. Denominator is the equation. It is the characteristic equation. Okay, this is the equation, and you have to solve this. You have to solve this equation. Okay, rather I would say you have to solve this equation. Okay, so in this case, or this one, you will get this one, actually you will get the value of eta. Okay, by taking the ratio of b by 2 root over of AC. Now if b square is less than 4ac, if b square is less than 4ac, that means if you concentrate on this equation, now 68, this one, if b square is less than 4ac, then what we get? B square less than, that means we will get a negative value, isn't it? B square is less than 4ac means 4ac is greater than b square, so it will be negative. See, this is negative. Okay, so this parameter also, you can see, this eta will be becoming less than 1, because this is 2 means nothing. See, if you get confused, I will write in this way. B means root over of 4ac, मतलब के ये जो b स्क्वायर है इसका भी स्क्वायर रूट निकाला है, 4ac का भी स्क्वायर निकाला है। पहले क्या था? पहले ऐसा था b square by 4ac. What we have done, we have taken the square root. So this is nothing but b by root over of 4ac. So 4ac means 2 root over of ac. Okay, so if this one denominator is more, that means if you concentrate on this, if denominator is more, so it will be less than 1. Okay, this is more, it will be less than 1. Okay, if this is equal to this, so it will be equals to 1. It will be equals to 1. Okay, so it will be equals to 1, and if this is more, then it will be greater than 1. Okay, this will be greater than 1, because if the b squared is more than root over of 2 root over ac, or you can say root 4ac, b square is more than 4ac, it will be greater than 1. Okay, and if b is 0, anyhow, if it is b is 0, then obviously the numerator is 0, then eta will be 0. Okay, and in no case a or c can be 0, because it will become infinite. It does not happen generally. It is not possible. Okay, so these three conditions, or these 4 cases, conditions can be observed. These 4 cases. So depending upon the value of b square and 4ac, eta can be less than 1, it can be equals to 1, it can be greater than 1, it can be equals to 0. Now eta is less than 1, that means we call it an underdamped system. Why? Because eta is the damping ratio. So the value of eta determines whether the system is damped or underdamped. Okay, it is damped or underdamped. So the eta, if it is less than 1, we call it an underdamped system. If it is equals to 1, we call it a critically damped system. If it is greater than 1, we call it an overdamped system. And if it is 0, it is called the undamped system. It is called an undamped system. If you see this particular figure, you will be able to understand. Okay, so before going to this, I just want to tell you that this entire system, the time response analysis, it is a little bit bigger one. Okay, so we are going step by step. We cannot jump into the conclusion. So in step by step, I am showing you. First of all, let me start with what we have discussed. This is a second order differential equation. First of all, rule number 1, second order system. Okay. Now we have to find the Laplace transform. We all know the rule. We have to find the Laplace transform and then inverse Laplace. But we are not going to the inverse Laplace now because there is some analysis. Because since it is second order system, it is much more critical because it can have complex roots. That is why before going to inverse Laplace, we have to investigate on this Laplace transform. So this is a second order system. So second order system has to be written in this way. The transfer function has to be written in this way, where every constant has every constant associated with these middle terms has some value or has some name. That means the last one is called the natural frequency, and this is called natural frequency multiplied by damping ratio. Okay. Now if you want to solve this root, then you will get the value of b, because we know the value of b, because if you write this one, this is a, this is b, this is c, we all know a, b, c. Okay, so depending on that a, b, c, we get the value of eta. So eta can be less than 1, it can be greater than 1, it can be equals to 1, it can be 0, because eta is the damping ratio. If you see this particular graph, this graph shows that there are 3 signals. Okay, this straight line is the input and these are the output. This one is one output CT, this another output C, this one, and this another output. This output we have got in time domain. That means after Laplace, inverse Laplace, we got these signals. But we are not directly going to the inverse Laplace now, because using the eta value also we will understand that what will be the nature. We don't have to go to inverse Laplace directly. We can understand the nature of the output signal. How? If you concentrate on this bigger one, it is called underdamped. Okay, underdamping. This is called critically damping. This is called overdamped. Okay, underdamped means the signal magnitude will increase rather than decreasing, opposite of damping. Okay, critically damping means the signal will just damp and become constant. Okay, that means like this. If I show you a damped function, we know damped function is like this. Damped function is like this. Okay, but critically damped means it will become damped. That means it will touch this line, but directly it will touch this line. It will not overshoot. The magnitude will not go upwards of the reference line, 0 axis. You will just touch it. It is called critically damped. You can see this is critically damped. This is only when eta is equals to 1. If eta is greater than 1, it is called overdamped. That means it is so much damped that it will not touch this particular input line. That means it is so much damped, the damping is so heavy that it is damped before it is even touching the, you can say, the input line. So there is some gap. So it is very, very damped or over damped. Okay. And undamped means it will not get damped, so it will continue like a sinusoidal wave. Okay. So these are the 4 cases. Okay. This is a summary. That means is 0, it is no damping, less than 1 underdamped, equals to 1 critically damped, greater than 1 overdamped. Okay, got it. Did you understand this part? The value of eta and their responses accordingly. Did you understand it? That means, did you get the meaning of overdamped and underdamped and critically damped? If any doubt, you can ask. Okay, so I think you have understood. Okay, so this topic is not yet over. I will continue in the next class. Okay, because this time response of second order system will be continued, and I will also show some examples also. Then it will be easier for you to understand. Okay, and then we will be plotting this in the MATLAB also if necessary. Okay. Okay, so before leaving, let me note down the attendance. Okay, take a screenshot. Okay, so then thank you, students. So you may leave now.
Thank you, sir.